WIBTA to not let my best friend of many years move after she, boyfriend, and 4 kids get evicted. My BFF lives with her boyfriend and her 4 kids in a small 3-bedroom house. Her boyfriend is rather lazy and does the bare minimum, basically works 30 hours a week and sleeps or plays on his phone the rest of the time. Any home or car maintenance is usually done by myself or my husband. My BFF also works about 30 hours a week but does all the housework and childcare. They were both laid off during COVID and didn't pay any rent or put anything aside from stimulus money, rather they spent it on frivolous items. Well, once things started back getting normal again, they started paying rent but kind of ignored the 16 months they didn't pay. Again, spending whatever extra they had on unnecessary stuff. Well, she recently got a letter of eviction giving her till the 15th of next month to vacate. Both my husband and myself have encouraged her to talk with landlord, seek help from family, talk with county, and even talk to legal aid. She has done none of this and instead decided to drink and bury her head in the sand. Now she has mentioned moving in with me and my family, husband, daughter 17, and son 13. As much as I'd love to help her, I just can't. I am a neat freak, she is not. My kids attend school regularly, hers miss a lot. My 17-year-old works a lot on top of school, her 20-year-old lays in bed all day doing nothing but smoking pot, legal here, and having guys over. Lastly, she has lots of pets, and I mean lots, 13 dogs and 14 cats. I have my own hobby farm, but they are well kept after and cleaned up after. Hers are not as much, and there is often messes around the house. So would I be the asshole to leave her, her family, and her pets to be homeless? I have offered to go with her to talk to organizations, but again she is just ignoring it all. Comment. Wow. AITA. It's hard to see a scenario where your BFF is not trying to take advantage of you. Her life seems to be a mess of her own making, and she's not doing anything to make her situation better except asking others for freebies. For better or worse, I commend you for sticking by your BFF for as long as you have. 100%. No way, I believe they don't plan to squat, once they're in someone else's hard-earned space. Emergency is over and they can relax and make themselves right at home. Squatters/tenants rights activated. They'll happily destroy whatever friendship this is for a free roof over their head. Sounds like it's less about an inability to pay rent and more about the lack of a desire to. They got used to the lifestyle they had when there was a moratorium on evictions and didn't want to go back. I feel bad for those kids. AITA. She is deeply irresponsible, and it shouldn't be you who deals with those consequences. She has options, she's just choosing the easiest one for her. Even just the humans moving in would be insane, and I wanna bet you'd end up doing the chores along with your husband, without help from anyone else. Also, 13 dogs and 14 cats in a small apartment? That's insane. You can't let this person encroach in your life any more than she already has. Her suggestion to move in with you under the circumstances, when it's not even the last resort, is selfish. My life is too absurd. My parents have 10 cats in a less than 750 sq ft bungalow, along with them, my grandmother, and my 2 mid-20s siblings. If we had stray dogs in our neighborhood, this would be them. They also feed the local feral colony and they're all friendly now, so that adds an additional 20 to 30 cats in their responsibility even if they're not in their home. Don't be a doormat and cause problems for yourself and your own family. Tell her no. Block her and cut her off if she tries to scream or manipulate you. If she drops off her kids at your doorstep, call CPS and the police. Actions have consequences. Your friend and her lazy boyfriend need to figure things out on their own. Don't use your own hands to break your family. That is exactly what she is going to try and take advantage of. I bet she is going to treat you as her emergency option, as she doesn't expect you to let her be on the streets. And the others are right, if you let her in you will have a nightmare time getting her out again. AITA, you need to learn the mantra, not my circus, not my monkeys. It's none of your concern, it's all on her and her BF and their poor planning, poor financials, just poor adulting in general. You don't have to take them in, and contrary to what she thinks, that would be a disaster for everyone. You should also expect this to be the end of your friendship. She's going to blame you for everything when you say no, you can't move in here. AITA. You have helped her, you provided resources and options she did have. You may not move in with me. Your options are to talk to these organizations and / or your landlord or vacate the premises, but you cannot move in with my family. Also, for what it's worth, having that many pets is likely against her lease, and if the landlord found out, could be evicting her for that reason alone. Also, depending on local jurisdiction, could be against local code as well without some kind of license. She sounds like a person that is always making bad choices and does nothing to improve her situation. Don't let her make her bad choices in your house. And depending on what state you live in, the letter they got might not be an actual eviction notice. In my state, landlords must first give a notice to quit, by a certain date. A lot of people mistake this notice for an eviction. Legally, it is not. If the tenant do not leave, the LL next has to go to court and get a court date, which will result in a summons to court being issued to the tenant. Next, on the court date, if the judge agrees with the LL, the judge issues an actual eviction notice that gives the tenants 14 days min to leave. Next story 2. AITA for wanting to open a fraud investigation against my mother. I realized in 2019 that my mom had taken out multiple credit cards and retail finance in my name while I was at university, as she had access to all my personal information and spent them all to their limit and ignored them. At this point my family home was being sold as my parents were separating, so I thought let my mom get her share of the house sale money and she would pay it all off in one go due to the influx of cash she would have. Based on her words, this was her intention. That point came and went and the money just disappeared on luxuries such as a car, expensive rented apartment and holiday. She even bought my brother, who is 2 years older than me, a new car. My debt stayed under my name with letter after letter coming to me. I confronted her again in 2022, to which 2 were cleared, still leaving me with just over 8K debt. Over the past year there have been so many promises to pay it all off and none of which have actually happened. In June this year I informed her the recovery agency would be taking additional steps against me unless a payment plan was set up, so I messaged her and she sent me proof of it being set up. Fast forward to September and the company calls me daily, so I went to check how much has been paid off, only to find out the payment plan had been cancelled by her. I asked her and she was adamant she had been paying it for the last 3 months. She refused to show me any proof on her online banking for these transactions. I called the recovery company to confirm this and they told me the direct debit was cancelled the same day it was made. Bear in mind the payment plan was only for £20 a month. I obtained proof of this and went to reconfront her, only for her to continue lying to me and turn it around on me. After 4 years I am now tired that not only has she been treating my financial situation like a joke but wishes to lie to me on a daily basis to keep me quiet. I see no intention of her ever paying back the £8,000 debt under my name. I am left unable to open credit cards, take out loans or even get approved on a mortgage due to the situation. I am so deeply hurt that a parent would intentionally do this to their child and let them suffer. I have no faith in the woman that birthed me that she actually wants to fix the mistakes she made. So am I the asshole for wanting to open a fraud investigation against her in an attempt to be free of this burden I have not done to myself? Comment. Up NTA, but you shouldn't have waited so long to get this fixed. Freeze your credit immediately, if you haven't already. Get with all the fraud departments of each credit card. Hope and pray they believe you, because sometimes they won't. You are going to have to prove it was your mother. Lastly, get a lawyer who can subpoena her bank records and sue her. Then let her cry a river of crocodile tears. Not sure what the laws are in the UK, but in the US that is identity theft and you'd file a police report, notify all the creditors that they were identity theft ACCTS, lock down your credit and attempt to establish credit by using secured credit at first. Some finance agencies such as FHA allow for disregarding debt that was obtained fraudulently through identity theft if you can document it with a police report, etc. NTA. I'm so sorry your mother has done this, like it's super bad. Especially as it was 20 quid a month. And the fact that she lied to you about it? She deserves to get what's coming. Sue her ass. This happened to me and my dad. He put his van in my name so debt collectors wouldn't take it. He's now racked up tax bills and parking fines up to 2K. He keeps saying he'll sort it but he doesn't. I was young when he did it and he said nothing would get back to me. It's super annoying when you're young as it could affect you getting a mortgage. Thing is, I don't even drive. Your mum didn't care when she stole your name and credit info. She chose to gift a car to your brother when she had the money. She is never going to pay the debt or you back. She doesn't care about your credit, only wants to string you along. You have been more than patient. I would have turned it in the minute she started paying for goodies before clearing your debt. Lock your credit, what's left of it, and sick the full force of the law on her. She has used her last scintilla of parent respect 2 years ago. There is no simple just pay back. Your personal credit rating is now ruined for the next 7 years or so. It is likely too late to file for fraud since you've let it slide for so long. You need to lawyer up and sue her, ask for the money plus damages to cover all the future missed opportunities, e.g. a new car at an interest rate of 15% instead of 5%. You might be able to get the credit reporting agencies involved if you can legally prove it was all her fault. Good luck. I'm sorry, Op. The companies don't care that it is difficult to prosecute a family member. They are only interested in getting the money back for the agencies they represent. They don't care whose fault it is and who winds up paying in the end. They don't even care that it was clearly fraudulent. They are not going to understand you're letting things slide as long as you have, and if you don't get off your duff and file a police report, you're going to be on the hook for repayment. This can mean being sued in court and possibly garnishment of your wages, of certain types of debts, depending on debt collection laws in your country. Better her paying for the things she's done than you.